Parthiban Kanavu, English translation by Anand Kannan, narrated by Sujatha Anand. Book 3, Chapter 35. The Mother and the Son. Vikraman and Ponnan were pleasantly shocked on hearing that the Queen had returned. They got off their horses. A voice from the pavilion called, "Who is there? Did I hear Ponnan speak?" It was Queen Arulmozhi's voice. "Mother!" cried Vikraman as he rushed towards the pavilion. Ponnan followed him. A figure emerged from the dark pavilion. It was Queen Arulmozhi, but she had changed considerably. When Vikraman had seen her last, she had traces of youthful appearance. She looked considerably older. She appeared to have aged by 30 years in 3 years. Vikraman prostrated himself on the ground and grabbed her feet. The Queen sat on the ground, placed his head on her lap, and shed tears of joy. Ponnan, who had followed Vikraman into the pavilion, was quietly watching the emotional scene. His eyes fell on a figure who lay bound on the floor. He recognized the figure as the dwarf. The dwarf recognized Ponnan and cackled. Vikraman, startled, sat up and turned and began. "Ponna?" "Yes, my king. This is the man who acted as your guide from Mamalapuram," said Ponnan. The dwarf cackled again. Arulmozhi looked disoriented as she looked at everyone. She did not seem to know what to say. Finally, she addressed Ponnan. "Ponna, I don't understand what is going on, or how you all got here. I don't know how long I spent in that cave by the mountains. I decided to end my life by jumping into the waterfall. The sage stopped me and gave me courage. He said, 'Your son is back. You should be able to meet him soon.' Ponna, I also heard that you saved Vikraman from the currents of the wild river. Is that true?" Vikraman intervened. "Not just the wild river. Ponnan saved me from the emperor's capital punishment and from being sacrificed to Kali." "Sacrificed to Kali?" asked Arulmozhi, shuddering. The dwarf again laughed an eerie laugh. "Yes, sacrifice. There is going to be a large sacrifice today to quench Mother Kali's thirst." Everyone watched him with morbid fascination as he resumed. "At midnight, the Shaivite sage is going to be sacrificed. The rule of Mahabhadra Kali will start. There will be no shortage of skulls from now on." Vikraman jumped to his feet. "Ponna, what is this nonsense about the sage?" Dwarf resumed his cackle. "Nonsense? I am speaking the truth. That impostor, the sage, will be bound and lying on the sacrificial altar by this time. The sword will come down at the stroke of midnight." The Queen turned to Vikraman and said in a miserable voice, "This man has been torturing me by saying this since we got here. I escaped from the cave and tried to jump in the waterfalls. The sage stopped me and assured me that a few men will come to rescue me. The men arrived as he had promised. They also found this man hiding nearby and captured him. Since we arrived here, he has been telling me that the Kapaliks are about to sacrifice the sage. The sage is a holy soul. He has been a guide to us, and he is in such a terrible position." Vikraman said, "Ponna, what is the point of us being alive if we can't intervene? My king, you seem to be forgetting the position that you are in. We really need to get to Mamalapuram before daybreak." "You will miss the ship, that's all, right?" asked the Queen. Ponnan turned to the Queen. "My Queen, your son is in danger. You know the punishment for breaking the terms of banishment. Marappa Bhupati has already recognized your son and would have tipped the emperor off by now. If your son misses the ship, it will be hard to escape punishment. To save the sage, he has to put his own life at risk. What do you think we should do?" Arulmozhi seemed nonplussed. Vikraman addressed her. "Mother, you are the brave queen of King Parthiban. Tell me what I should do. The sage has been a great source of strength to us. Should I run away now to save my own life? Is that what father would have wanted me to do? You need to stay alive to have a chance to carry out King Parthiban's wishes, said Ponnan. Arunmozhi looked at the two alternatingly. Finally, she said, Ponna, you may think of me as a heartless mother. My instinct is not to abandon a great man who has been helping us all these years. I don't want to hear people say that my son ran away to save his own life when a friend was in danger. Vikraman touched her feet and said, Mother, you are the ideal mother and worthy wife of King Parthiban, with emotion. He turned to Ponnan and said, Ponna, get ready to leave. But where are we going? We don't know where the sacrifice is going to be. I can show you if you untie me, said the dwarf. Finally, the dwarf was untied and was handed a torch. Ponnan and Vikraman mounted their horses. They followed the dwarf along a wooded path that led west. End of chapter 35.